So, I just got home from the cinema. I watched Project Hail Mary, and I gotta be honest, I loved it. Now, I wanna do a small review slash rant of why I liked it, so it might include a few spoilers. I'm not sure yet. When I finish editing and finish talking, I'll know, but just keep that in mind, okay? Now, if you decided to stay, welcome, thank you. And the reason I think I enjoyed it so much is because it's a very original story. Yes, I know it's based on a book as well, but the way it's made, I think it's one of those stories that is worth talking about. Well, first, if you don't know about the story, let me tell you just really quick, okay? So, the story follows a man, a scientist who wakes up alone in space, in a spaceship, right, with no memory of who he is or how he gets there. And so slowly, like piece by piece throughout the movie, you and him start discovering and understanding his mission. 'Cause he's there for a reason, right? He's not just there for fun. So, what I really liked is that the story in the movie doesn't rush the process. It lets you just sit there confused, because it just starts like that, right? You are alone with this guy in the middle of space or middle of nowhere. You don't know why, you don't know how, so it takes its time building up. It doesn't just answer the question outright. And I really enjoy that aspect of it. Now, I mentioned the scientist, and he's the main character, right? Played by Ryan Gosling. And I love Ryan Gosling. I'll get into that in a minute, but the character is called Dr. Ryland Grace, and he's this socially awkward, weird, and cringy character, a really smart man, right? He's a scientist, but he got demoted because he did some research that some people above him didn't like, so they basically blackballed him from the science community. And so he works as a teacher at a high school, right? But a little more about the character is that, as I said, he's socially awkward and very weird and not, he doesn't connect well, doesn't know how to express himself like normal people, but at the same time he's, at least in my opinion, very funny, very charming. He has that quality, and Ryan just captures that perfectly. Now, I mentioned I love Ryan Gosling in pretty much everything he's been in Blade Runner, Drive, Nice Guys, La La Land, Barbie, even The Notebook, like anything he's in. So I was really excited about this movie, and where he really stands out with the movie is that he carries it all by himself, basically. He's alone, I would say. 80% of the movie, like once he's in space, it's just him. And yes, there's a companion, but the companion doesn't arrive until like the second act, so during a very long stretch of the movie, he's on his own, and when the companion does arrive, he's not there all the time, and it's a green screen character. And it's a CGI character. So Ryan was basically acting on his own for the whole movie. Sorry. So it takes a certain level of actor to not just pull off the character. There may have been other options that could have done it, but to keep you hooked and to keep the movie interesting with just one person, that's insane. Obviously there's other characters, but they're not as prominent, as important as your main character, the driving force of the movie. Now, I mentioned the companion. If you've watched the trailer, you've seen it most likely. Yes, Ryan Gosling is in a buddy movie, comedy, sci-fi, fantasy, even drama with an alien companion. Rocky. He is by far my favorite part of the movie. Besides Ryan, he is the heart of the movie. He is the emotional core, really. Everything that happens to him, because of him, and despite him, made me at least feel everything. It was lovely. A very well written character. If I had to describe him, basically, he's not human, right? He's an alien. He looks like a rock, which is why we call him Rocky, but you don't even need him to be human-like. Have a human face, features. His personality is really what makes him charismatic, funny, intelligent, and very loyal. It's like, how can I say, like you become instantly attached to him. He's like immediately your best friend, Ryan Gosling's best friend, right? At the beginning of this relationship, there is sort of a communication issue. He's an alien, Ryan's a human. How do you connect both worlds? How do you communicate? That is one of the issues the movie tackles, and it takes its time building it. It feels a little bit rushed. Like I think it was the issue of communication got fixed a bit too fast for my liking, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It didn't distract me, it didn't take away from the emotional weight of the characters. Now, I give you a brief intro to the story, and as you may be able to tell from the characters, it goes from point A to point B to point C, taking its time, as I said, but we start with Ryan Gosling's character alone in space, and through flashbacks we start seeing his past and how he came to be in that situation. Now, basically what the main problem to solve in the story is that the sun is basically getting eaten, devoured by these tiny spots that are all consuming it and dimming the light, the power derived from the sun. So basically the issue is that in a few years, about 30 years, the sun will reduce in size, in power, and the planet will get colder and will crops dying, freezing temperatures, ocean, and all a bunch of bad stuff would happen to the planet. So they start doing some research and they find that this is happening all over the galaxy, all over the universe. Different suns, different stars are getting dimmer, are getting eaten by these little things. Except for one sun. One star is not being affected. So they're like, we need to send someone to that star and figure out what's going on so that we can replicate that here in our solar system so we can save Earth. It's a long shot, yes. That's why it's called Project Hail Mary. As you might guess, Ryan Gosling is part of the research team, so he gets sent into space. How he gets there and why he decides to go, because he's not a heroic character in the traditional sense. I won't spoil that part, I won't tell you how he gets there, but it's a very interesting part of his backstory that we see again through flashbacks. Now, the overall atmosphere, vibe of the movie changes a lot. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's the perfect way of describing it, because you go from what's going on, who is this guy, to I love this man, to what is that alien, to I love that alien and I hope nothing happens to him, and oh, this could happen and then this could happen, and oh, they avoided this but now they're in this other situation, and up and down and up and down. I was exhausted emotionally, and what I was saying about the vibe, I mean the atmosphere. When Ryan is alone at the beginning of the story, you feel that loneliness, you feel that isolation, deep space, no idea where he is, no idea who he is, confusion. You feel it, they capture the essence of every scene just right. When you get to Rocky, the soul of the movie, it feels different. The interaction, I don't even know, maybe the lighting even changes. When he's with Rocky, when he's alone, when the flashbacks are going on, I think this might have been my mind, but I think it does get a little duller. The color saturation a little different as time moves on in the flashbacks, and it might have just been me, but I need to watch it again. As I told you, I just got home from watching it. Something that I enjoyed was the cinematography as well. It wasn't my favorite aspect of the movie. There were some really cool shots, but overall, it's great, but not. It's that. I think it's missing a little bit. Again, just my opinion, might just be me, but there are some shots that I thought were amazing. There's this scene, no spoilers, but they have to use an infrared light in the movie, right? And then they put an infrared sort of filter, and I felt euphoric. It was a beautifully made shot and emotionally charged. The music was amazing, hitting everything, so I really enjoyed that part. Speaking of music, it was great. It was definitely a highlight. It balanced perfectly a mix between fantasy sci-fi. This movie, I thought it would be more like The Martian, like Interstellar, like a bit more grounded in reality. Yeah, I know Interstellar goes a bit off the edge, but for the most part, it's like hard sci-fi. Since this movie was based on a book by the same guy who did The Martian, I thought it would go that way, but as I told you, the alien, the relationships, the fun, the funny aspects and everything, I felt like it was way more fantasy sci-fi than hard sci-fi, which was a perfect decision. And the music really captured it. There was, I don't remember, I think it was right at the end, a song, sort of a dancey vibe, and this plucked instruments, almost like plucks, like housey vibe, and the chord progression was great. The melody, it felt joyful, euphoric, it felt triumphant. It reminded me of no movie in particular. It was very, very unique, very appropriate, just every element just sort of connected in the best way possible. I know I've sold this movie as a beautiful masterpiece, which I think it is. I think if people don't appreciate it now, in the near future, it will become a cult classic. I can see people dressing up for Comic-Con as Rocky or as Ryan. I think there's even a Lego set available of the ship Rocky and Ryan, which I'm definitely getting when I have money. But anyway, that's another thing. I really do feel like the movie is special. It's joyful, it's cheerful, it's sad, it's happy, it's serious, it's warning us about actual issues, but in the end it's about connection, communication, it's about unity, and I really loved the message, the music, the vibe, the visuals, the acting. Ryan Gosling, what a guy. Loved his performance. Loved everyone else's performance as well. If I were to give you an example or something that I disliked, I feel like some flashbacks weren't needed. Like, there was a point in the movie where I'm like, yeah, I think I get it. I could have done without like one or two. That's it, right? Maybe if I watch it again, I'll tell you, no, what, that was essential. But there was a karaoke scene. Again, try not to spoil as much as I can, but there's a karaoke scene that I understand why they put it in. I just think it lasted a bit too long. I think it was a little bit superficial. Another thing I didn't like, and maybe this is spoilery, but Ryan is supposed to be on a mission with two other people on the spaceship, and when he wakes up he finds out that they passed away. They didn't survive the trip, right? Because as I told you, it's in another solar system, it's another star, so you need to be in a coma, whatever. The point is, I think they should have fleshed out those two characters a little bit more in the flashbacks, make them a little more essential so that when they die, when we find out they die and Ryan does this little funeral thing for them, it hits a lot more. Just my opinion, just something I would change. What do I know? Nothing. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I will watch it again. I don't know when I'm a bit more free at time, but I highly recommend it if you like to have a feel-good movie, fantasy, sci-fi, good acting, good pacing, good music, just a good time in general. I would definitely recommend it. And let me know if you like the review, if you like this format, if you have any movies that you would like me to watch and review. I'd be happy to do so. And please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I hope I didn't spoil everything. And even if I did, and you're watching and you're on the fence about watching the movie, watch it. Do yourself a favor. Have a good time. I loved it. I'm getting a Rocky tattoo. I don't know when or where, but I felt an instant connection with the movie, with the characters, with the story, with the world they built. It's a smart movie as well. The plot is good. It's what I would expect from a very good sci-fi novel, which is what it's based on. I haven't read the book. I should be clear about it, but I want to know. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching again. Like, comment, subscribe if you want me to do more. I'll do more, and I'll see you next time.